All right. Good afternoon, everyone. How are we? Welcome to Sports Talk right here on the family station. Love 101 FM. KG's running. I don't know why.
He's alright.
He doesn't want me to talk to him.
What would you talk to me about? That's what I'm going to ask. Because so hi Kathya.
Hi, KG. How are you?
Welcome to Sports Talk.
Are you saying welcome back? Or are you saying welcome?
It's not back. You sat in for Daniel a couple of weeks.
I did.
Yeah, so it's not back. It's welcome to. This is like okay. So this is like you're here. Daniel's not here, but he's not on a break.
That's true. So it's welcome. All right, fine. I'll take that while I find the correct sports theme.
I know. That's up to you, because I looked where it was supposed to be, and then it's not there.
It's not there.
So what you're going to have to do now is you're going to have to put Kathya, and then put that in that, so that I can do that. Because if that folder is empty, then that folder should not have been there.
I certainly agree. Good afternoon to our viewers on Facebook and YouTube, and on the WhatsApp line. If you want to WhatsApp me during this hour, it's 876-997-3125. Thank you so much, KG.
I'm just saying, it's Raquel. Raquel is saying bye, KG. Why is she saying bye, KG?
I don't know.
Raquel, let me tell you something. This is Sports Talk. I'll deal with it when I get back into the channel.
Whoa, okay.
Okay. You're not even saying good afternoon. You're saying bye, KG. Hey, Kathya. Bye, KG. Hey, Kathya. Oh, so you're listening to Kathya, but you weren't listening to KG.
I'm not sure.
I'm
not getting involved. Okay, bye, KG. For real.
I know you said bye to me. So, Kathya, what are you going to be talking about?
So today, coming up in Sports Talk, we'll be talking about a few things. So the regular girls failing to qualify for the Olympics.
Oh, man.
Yesterday, a statement was released by the JFF about them and the coach, Lauren Donaldson, for the regular girls, coming to a decision that the contract will not be renewed. A very interesting point, but we will talk about that later in the show. We'll be having Audrey and Leslie, sports journalist, joining us later in the show to talk about that. Mm-hmm. We'll also be talking about the Jamaica Cricket Association, or non-bid for the...
Oh, you mean for the World Cup?
For the World Cup. I have a few things to say about that.
I mean, hey, based on what I heard, it would cost a lot of money to renovate and stuff. What about this big, pretty stadium?
Right, but then we did this in 2007 for Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium.
Yeah, and what? You know what? I'm not going to even. I'm going to leave you alone with that one, because you're not going to draw me out and get me in any trouble. Okay.
I'm not getting anybody in any trouble. It's crazy, and I'm not only talking about us not making a bid for the World Cup. I'm also talking about, it's been 2019 since Jamaica Tallowers played a match at Sabina Park. So what is
happening?
What is really happening?
When I was growing up, Sabina Park was home of cricket.
Right now it's home of party and football.
And concerts. What is happening? Hey, listen, the views expressed in Sports Talk are not necessarily those of Love 101 nor its management. It's Kathya's. No, but seriously though, Kathya, let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, since you're going to go into
all right, so let's just do that. So, right, as a part of this segment, so let's start since I have you. Mm-hmm. But
since I have you, that's just
right. I'm very concerned though, KG. It's very concerning for me. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna start with what I think the lesser of the two, which is Jamaica Tallowers. Now, the Tallowers franchise. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, it's the Jamaica. So, like how you have Barbados Royals and Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders and Guyana Amazon Warriors. Congratulations to the Warriors who would have won the CPL T20 this year.
All right.
I'm saying what it is with the government and the Jamaica Cricket Association that the Jamaica Tallowers since 2019. Okay, we had COVID, but Jamaica Tallowers won Caribbean Premier League last year and played 0 home matches. 0.
What about that rumor? I don't know if it's a rumor, but I heard that some Miami person, but which is why the matches went to Florida one of the time. Okay, remember that? Remember that was one of the things.
Well,
and a lot of people boycotted the match because they were upset about it.
I understand that, but as far as I know, if the thing is still labeled Jamaica Tallowers, then Jamaica has to find a way to ensure that this franchise at least 3 games are played in Jamaica.
How many games are played like overall?
Overall, it's what? Is it 10 games? I believe
10 games, and not even one played.
Not even one. Not even one. And I mean, we were defending champions. So okay, fine. We weren't sure about the team coming out of COVID. So we won last year, defending champions, and there was still 0 games in Jamaica. And Sabina Park is there. Okay, it needs refurbishing. So what about all this money that Sabina Park has been maybe the most rented stadium in the country?
Yeah, what about those?
What about the revenues that are coming from the parties and the football matches
and the concerts?
It is not. They're not having them there free. So is it that we are not interested in taking the Jamaica Tallowers back? And if so, then name it Florida Tallowers or something else,
so that we can say, all right, it's not ours. So
it's not ours. And so as fans and as journalists, we don't have the expectation that we're gonna get games here.
I mean, for if you realize all the other teams that are part of the Caribbean Premier League, they have home matches.
Most of them, yes.
They have, unless they and even if the stadium is small, because where Sammy is from is a very small stadium.
My point exactly.
You like 6 out of that easy. But yet still they have matches there.
The government and their local cricket association has found a way to allow home games to take place. JCA, government, fix it. It doesn't look good. And I know the point of saying, but we don't. Is it that we don't? Are you saying that the games are not profitable? I'd love to see that, because when I went to matches in 2019, the matches were full. So what? And all the games, whether it was in the middle of the day or late at night, the games were full.
You can't even drive on the road.
So I'm just
But even so, how many cricket matches have we played at the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium since it was built?
Other than the opening ceremony? I mean, after 2007, I don't
0. And it cost millions to build that stadium
for it to be come a grazing ground, right?
You sure? You see, you want to mash up these people them show. Yes, you understand. And I every day I pass there, I think to myself, why?
I see other things keeping at Trelawney. The other day, I think the Seventh-day Adventist group had their international camp rally thing there at Trelawney Multipurpose. I was like, I didn't even know that it was still open.
I didn't even know that it was still standing.
It is, I don't know, is it that our sports organization, the local bodies, they just don't have it, they just don't seem to have it together? Whether it's cricket, whether it's football, whether it's athletics, we just don't. I don't know. The management, the local organizers, we just don't seem to have it together. And I'm not sure that I'm okay with that.
And some of the most talented sporting persons come, because even netball, I mean volleyball, cricket, I mean we generally can be on top of our game in any sporting discipline. Once a Jamaican said, because even look at Bob, even though bobsleigh was like years ago, even that we did, and we don't have snow here. So I'm just saying that our ability to be good at any sporting, the only thing we need is just a little support.
Yeah, but we don't have the support.
But why?
Because private sector, government, they don't believe in sports. I have to come to that conclusion. I know, literally, like that's a conclusion I'm to, but to the point of not qualifying for or making a bid for the ICC Cricket World Cup. Just before we get to the break, I'm just not sure, because I mean I've heard the stories, so I've read the reports actually, and the story is just not adding up. I'm so sorry.
So it don't make no sense.
It's like you want to be like understanding to say, okay, they said when we did 2007 World Cup, the reports are that we made a loss during that time. Trelawny Multipurpose Stadium, for what we know, should have been an investment in the country.
Right.
After 2007, as we said, I've not seen any more cricket matches played there. Only became a grazing ground. Okay, Sabina is there. We've been using Sabina, as I would have alluded to before.
A lot of things happen at Sabina because it is one of those places that you go. It's inside, so it's enclosed, it's secure, and which is why I think a lot of persons use it. The parking is secured, which is why I think a lot of persons use it. But Sabina is not cheap to rent.
It is not cheap to rent. So it means that at some point the Sabina Park is making a revenue. So what is happening with that revenue? Is it that the overheads are too high? To continue, running the place.
But if the overheads are high, if you continue to utilize the facility, it's going to start deteriorating.
That is true.
So if the overheads are high,
if you don't use it, then it's still as bad as using it.
But if you're using it and you're not doing anything to upgrade or update it, then you're going to be in problem.
Correct.
So all right, you know what, Matilena? Why did you stop me from going through the door?
I just wanted to pick your mind today.
No, you see, you want me to you want people to see the non-laughing part of me. That is what you were doing. But well, I mean, to be honest, if we value our sports, if we value our athletes, then I think that we should do more in order to make sure that they are okay. I think Jamaica is one of the only places in the world that have such great talent that don't invest in their talents.
I agree. And KG, by the way, do you know how many persons or how many people across the world watch cricket? I'm just asking. Do you know?
No, I don't. I don't. I know that T20 is the most popular.
Okay, so across the world, and I mean, this is unconfirmed reports, but there are over 40 million people.
40 million people. That's still a lot of people.
40 million people that watch cricket.
That's a lot of people.
And there are teams within the World Cup that have Indians. They go everywhere. They go everywhere. Right?
And I agree with that.
There are certain teams. So the Australians, they travel. The English, they travel.
Mm-hmm. And they have their followers.
And they have their followers. I don't see. Remember now, in my case, we would not be taking on hosting like the opening ceremony and that. We leave that to the other Caribbean nations that have figured that out. Mm-hmm. I'm saying we should at least had some matches out here. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, for me, and then we have to remember that it's not all about who is coming to the stadium. You have also persons who are going to be watching it live, online, and on television.
Right.
So you have a whole heap of avenue that you can explore as to how to get the revenues in.
I rest my case. I think we were irresponsible to not have to put in a bid for the World Cup. That's what I'm saying.
And then they justify everything.
We try to justify, but I'm not satisfied with the justification, and that's on that. Good afternoon to everyone on our Facebook and YouTube. Good afternoon, Kayla. Good afternoon, Jackie Cole. Hi, Jakal. How are you? Right. Let me just quickly scroll through here. Suzette, good afternoon. Eunice Beckford, good afternoon. Hi, Raquel, and hi, Carolyn, and Nicole on the WhatsApp line. We are going for a quick break right here on Sports Talk. We'll be right back.
Our home internet needs have grown too.
And now, with Flow's fiber-fast internet and smart Wi-Fi coverage, we're always connected in any room at home.
With Yard and Road Plus, get gig speed, fiber-fast internet, smart Wi-Fi, plus unlimited mobile on the go. All for the special offer of only $6,999 plus GCT a month. Fiber-fast internet and smart Wi-Fi coverage inspired by you. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
What does a strong Jamaica mean to you?
It means a Jamaica in which everybody have a house, no matter them income, where citizens can say the words "I own" and back up them chat with a title.
Where everybody have access to water and good road run through every part of the island. A Jamaica with first-class ports and factory space for accommodate enough investments and jobs.
Where policies and laws work to protect our environment for future generations and to slow the impacts of climate change.
So how are we going to achieve all them things?
So now one ministry and its agencies.
The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
I promise you guys I'm going to find what the correct sports talk theme song. I'm not sure where KG found this one, but we'll use it for today. All right, so welcome back to Sports Talk, everyone. For those who have tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp, if you want to say hello to me, the name is Kathya, your new host for Sports Talk. The number or WhatsApp line is 876-997-3125. And if you want to share your thoughts, you can call me. 876-968-8327 and 876-968-8328. Right. So we were just talking about, Charmaine, good afternoon. We were just talking about Jamaica not bidding for the World Cup. Right. Cricket World Cup, that is. Moving on to another matter that I'd love to discuss today, that would be of the schoolboy football ineligibility rule. Now, there are two schools who we would have seen ISA release statements about earlier. Well, one in this week and one in the previous week. I'm actually gonna go through the statements so that we can discuss what's happening, and then we can share our thoughts. So on the 22nd of September, ISA had a press release. The Interschool Secondary Sports Association Disciplinary Committee recently met and investigated a matter regarding the alleged use of an ineligible player in the Manning Cup season opener by Jamaica College against Tivoli Gardens High. It says the disciplinary committee found that Jamaica College used an ineligible player in the said game and has ruled that Jamaica College will lose all 3 points gained in the match, and Tivoli Gardens be awarded the points with a score of 3-0. Of course, the player remains ineligible to participate in the 2023 football competition, and Jamaica College will be placed on a 3 years probation starting September 21, 2023, which is this year. A few days later, we saw another ruling from ISA, this one against Hydel group of schools. And this one was released 4 days ago. So that's on the 26th. This is where Hydel exceeded the number of quota players in the said game and has ruled that the match played against Kingston College on September 12, that Kingston College will be awarded the score 3-0 for that game. Right. And if you remember, or the score before the ruling was KC had lost that match 4-0 to Hydel. So now Hydel will be deducted the points and KC will get the 3-0 victory over Hydel. Now, just a few thoughts I have on this. Let's start with the Hydel case. For in the Hydel case, the number of quota players. So you might be listening and you might be saying, what does it mean by the number of quota players? Now, for the number of quota players, according to ISA rules, you have three players, 3 transfer players that you can use to play in your current season of Manning Cup, if it is that they're not in 6th form. Now, if it is that you go over that, you only can play, let me go again. You only can play 3 transferred players in any particular game for the season. Now, if, for example, you use 4 players, which I do believe in the case of Hydel, that happened, then it would have been deemed, one of the players would have been deemed ineligible to play. In the case of Jamaica College, according to the ISA rules, the students are supposed to be registered by September 30, I believe, in the school system, and if they're not, then they'll be marked ineligible for the season. Now, not sure what's the case with the JC player, but I do believe that this young man, based on reports, was not registered. But there are two thoughts as it relates to that. I'll start with Issa. I'd love to know from Issa, and of course, I'll get the relevant people, but I'd love to know from them, at what point do we investigate these matters? Is it that we wait on teams to report that another team has used an ineligible player? Or is it that we go through the match cards after the match cards to find out, or the officials at the Issa games would have known from that day that the particular team would have used an ineligible player? Because this one of them, and I say that to say, because the ruling came out. What stood out to me is that the ruling came out on September 22. That's the case of JC. Now, I do believe that the match was played on September 9. So it took Issa 2 weeks to make a ruling on that match. And then the second one, which was against Heidel, the game against KC, was played on September 12th. And the ruling again took 2 weeks. So I suspect what has happened is that, Issa would have maybe tried to investigate. They've done their investigations and now come with a ruling. But I mean, we'll get the clarification. Now, the second point that I'm going to make is about the management team. Because is it that the management team is not, of both schools, or for all the schools that are in the Issa football competition, whether Manning Cup or the Costa Cup, is it that we are not being careful in following the Issa ruling? I mean, it's been a while that we've had rulings like this, and it's standing out to me. Is it that teams have been changing managers now, so they, somehow not remembering to dot all their I's and cross all their T's? Not casting blame on any person, but I'm just saying, if persons are responsible or have been given a duty to ensure that the teams or your team is compliant to the rules, then I just do believe that the job should be done. And so I hope for the remainder of the season that we will not have any more cases like these, and that everybody will continue to do their due diligence. That is very important. Doing your due diligence is very important, especially one with a body like Issa. You think, the rules are very straightforward. One. Two, the rules are sometimes changing. So you have to ensure that your management and staff and everybody on the team is aware of the situation. I'm sure, when bringing in transfer players, you already know this person can't be on the match card. If somebody gets injured, I can't put a person that falls out of the quota on the match card, because then you're going to be put in a situation where, in this case, in Heidel's situation, won a match for love, but now the result has been turned against you, and now they're going to be having to play catch up in what is the toughest group, or what is considered maybe the toughest group within the Manning Cup this year, because it has Calabar and KC, Camperdown, and Heidel. That's a lot of teams, with only 2 teams able to go through to the next round. So, just for food for that. And for JC, I mean, JC has won the Manning Cup for many years, many years. The most winning Manning Cup football team. So I'm expecting that a team who would have done this and been through it, like JC, defending champions that they are, that the due diligence would have been done, and that something like this would not have happened. It's sad that this has happened, because but it's also a wake-up call to the other teams to ensure that you check your match cards properly, check your players, know the status of your players. Very, 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 very important. And so that's as it relates to the ineligibility rule as it relates to schoolboy football. Schoolboy football still goes on, so there'll be matches played today in the Manning and the Costa Cup. Quite a few matches going on today, actually. And just to segue into some other football news, for those who are interested, in the English Premier League, we would have had some interesting results. Since I'm already talking about football, I'll just continue. Some interesting results to this morning. Man City, who is the table leaders in the English Premier League so far, they lost this morning to the Wolves. And another result, Aston Villa 6-1 against Brighton. And currently going on, Tottenham versus Liverpool. The score is 1-1, and Liverpool currently playing with 9 players. Interesting there. Also, Man United lost to Crystal Palace this morning. West Ham beat Sheffield United 2-0. Newcastle beat Burnley 2-0. Luton, who is one of the promoted teams for this season, beat Everton 2-1. Arsenal, that's Daniel's team and some other people, won Bournemouth 4-0 this morning. So quite an interesting things going on in the English Premier League. If you're interested in La Liga, Real Madrid is currently leading Girona 3-0. Right. So that's what's going on currently going on in the world of sports. So coming up, as I said, we're gonna be talking about the next half of the show. We're gonna be talking about the Reggae Girls. A lot has happened over the past 24 hours as it relates to the Reggae Girls. Coach Lauren Donaldson, the JFF, has released a statement that he's no longer, his contract was not renewed, and Reggae Girls failing to qualify for the Olympics. So quite a lot happening as it relates to our Reggae Girls. So we'll talk about that in the next half of the program. And at that time, we'll be having sports journalist Audreen Leslie joining us to, tap into that discussion. We'll be right back right here on Sports Talk.
If you have financial needs, Chris and Charles will fix them for you. Powering great moments since 1992. Oh, we have it all. Powering great moments. Relax, you got Chris and Charles. Oh, we have it all. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Are you ready for the sale of the season at Jamaica's #1 store for home and hardware? It's time to grab unbeatable deals at H&L Rapid True Values clearance sale. From September 22 to October 1, H&L Rapid True Value is slashing prices with up to 75% off selected items. Big savings on selected lighting, tiles, housewares, pulls and knobs, kitchen sinks, toilets, basins, ladders, hand trucks, and so much more. Shop now at any of our 10 stores island-wide. Conditions apply while stocks last.
Get ready for an inspiring time inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jakal Dyer, this Monday, October 2. Listen throughout the show for tips on how to become the best version of who you are in the feature Becoming You. Grab your cup of coffee and we can start the day right with the Morning Coffee Pick Me Up devotional at 6 a.m. Cruise with Love on your radio at 7 a.m. inside Drive Time Jammings with great music to lift your day. This week inside Being Jamaican, we discuss ways to apologize like a Jamaican. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and at 8:30 a.m. inside The Healthy Way, we share things you may not have known about this disease. 9:30 a.m. is Something More, brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center. So stick and stay with us now, man. This Pick Me Up Monday inside Love in the Morning, 5 to 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101. Celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
So if a positive, you're in good, don't touch the.
How does your child learn? Do they get confused easily? Do you know any of the signs of what could be a learning disability in your child? Some learning disabilities are a lot more common than you might think. Monday, October 2 on Family Time, join host Tamika Scott Walters and guest Samantha Black as they discuss the topic learning disabilities, dyslexia, and dyscalculia. That's Family Time, Monday, October 2 at 5:30 p.m. here on the Family Station, Love 101. How does your child learn?
Do you have questions about the availability of medication from your drugstore pharmacist?
Ask a pharmacist.
Contact your pharmacist today by using our online request form via our website, calling 876-906-1106 or texting 876-219-9937, Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. or by emailing rxsupport@nhf.org.jm. NHF is here for health. NHF is here for you.
Ask a pharmacist.
And we're live back here on Sports Talk on Love 101 FM, your family station. If you'd like to join into the conversation, you can WhatsApp me at 876-997-3125. On Facebook, you can join us at Love 101 FM Jamaica. On YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Let me just say hello to a few people here. Yvonne, good afternoon. Sonia Hamilton, good afternoon. Desma Fowler, good afternoon. Carol Miller, good afternoon. Thank you guys so much for your warm welcome. And also thank you to the staff and management here at Love 101 for trusting me to be sitting in this seat. Very appreciative, as nerve-wracking as it is. So we move on to another matter in sports this week. Let me just, give a little thing because, it kind of sounds a little empty. But the Reggae Girls, now, earlier this week or last week into this week, the Reggae Girls would have failed to qualify for World Cup in Paris 2024. Sorry, the Olympics in Paris 2024. And yesterday, the JFF released a statement. Boy, I tell you, about these football bodies, but the sporting bodies. JFF released a statement yesterday, which I will read for us shortly, about the non-renewal of contract with coach Lauren Donaldson. I think most of us in the sporting world are surprised, but not surprised. There were a lot of things that happened behind the scenes as it relates to JFF and Coach Donaldson. I have, it's been an interesting time. Right. So let's start with the results of the Reggae Girls. Would have lost last week to Canada 2-0. And since week, we have lost to Canada in Canada 2-1, meaning that the aggregate score would have been 4-1. Then yesterday, the JFF released a statement, which I'm trying to find so I can read for us. The JFF would have released a statement about Coach Donaldson. It says, the Jamaica Football Federation and coach Lauren Donaldson had a meeting to discuss his contract as the senior women's sports team coach, which comes to an end on September 30, 2023. After an extended discussion, both parties came to an agreement that the contract would not be renewed. The JFS wishes to place on record our thanks to Lorne for his service to Jamaica's football over the years, and specifically making us proud at the recent Women's World Cup held in Australia and New Zealand. And we are confident that he will have unlimited success in his future endeavors and wish him the very best. The JFF is cognizant that the Reggae Girls will be involved in the CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup qualifying in less than a month. And we immediately put the machinery in place to have the competent staff in place for this important competition. Right. Now, I'm not sure. So let me just rock back a little to June. So in June of this year, right before our World Cup qualification started, Vin Blaine was our coach. Now, the girls have complained or would have made complaints about not being comfortable with Vin Blaine as a coach. And so the JFF asked Vin Blaine to leave. Coach Lorne Donaldson came in June, just before we started our final World Cup qualifications. We were able to make it to the World Cup. We made it out of our group and we exited the World Cup in the round of 16, when we lost against Colombia. Now, for the team to make it to the second World Cup was a great feat. For us to make it to the round of 16, even bigger feat. And so Coach Lorne Donaldson has shown that he can get the results. No, we would have heard the complaints about not having enough practice matches. And I'm sure a few months ago when I was on this show, that would have been one of my concerns as well, coming out of the competition, that I don't think we had enough practice games. I don't think the JFF did enough in preparing the team to ensure that they had the best quality heading into the World Cup, right? So we start there. But in spite of, or despite all the circumstances against Coach Donaldson and the team, we were still able to qualify for our second World Cup. Not only were we able to qualify for our second World Cup, we were also able to advance to the round of 16. Now, I know during the time there were a lot of off-the-pitch talks from Coach Donaldson, and some things would have been said, not being happy with how the JFF was treating whether him or the girls. There was a lot of talks. And it has said to me that the renewal of Coach Donaldson's contract is a matter that is not relating to results. It says to me that a sporting organization has looked at someone who has come into a program at a very short notice, gotten results, and said to him, because of external matters, that we no longer want you to continue with the success that you would have been having with the team. And that to me says a lot. That to me says that we are not serious. The sporting bodies are not serious about making the players and the coaches priority. It means that we are caught up in what I think is our own feelings and things against each other, and we can't run our sporting organizations like that. And this is just before. So can you just imagine? Jamaica Reggae Girls have made it to the World Cup twice. This is CONCACAF. And you're going to look at me and tell me that it is not important. So not even to say, okay, Coach Donaldson, we're not really in agreement with what you're doing, but let us get through the next month or two. Let's get through this CONCACAF stage where we have teams like Panama and Guatemala playing, which are not easy teams, because in recent time, yes, Jamaica would have played Panama and won them, but Guatemala would have beaten Panama. And so I think the qualification coming up as it relates to the CONCACAF Gold Cup would have been I think, based on what I'm seeing, a hard qualification for us. So for the JFF to say that after discussions, they have come to an agreement with Coach Donaldson, something is not sitting well with me, and I would love to honestly be a fly on the wall in that conversation, because I'd love to know how long that meeting would have lasted, and I'd love to know what was said. Because is it that an agreement was come to after, Coach Johnson is like, yeah, I'm not. These are the things that I'd like to see the team progressing with, and JFS is like, yeah, maybe I'm not able to promise that. I mean, there are reports out there, unconfirmed reports, that the meeting lasted only 5 minutes. I don't know. The thing said lengthy discussion, so I'm hoping that. I'm just hoping that. Well, I'm not even sure in this case if due diligence was done. I'm also very concerned, as I said, that we have a competition coming up. So can you imagine, as I was going to before, can you imagine the reggae girls qualified for the World Cup twice and not be able to qualify for the Gold Cup? I mean, yes, there are conversations out there to say that we needed to be more attacking as a side, and the unleashing of star striker Khadija Bonishaw. Have heard all those conversations, and I agree with them. But again, I come back to the point that I don't think that the girls would have had enough. Coach Donaldson would have had enough time to strike an impact to ensure that we had enough practice games, which is supposed to be organized by the local body, had enough time for the team to gel together. Now, the players who play, just like the reggae boys, the players who play in the reggae girls, they play in different leagues across the world, MLS and the women's league, and all across the world they play. And so they would have been adjusted to what they play in terms of their own club games. We, as the Jamaica team, reggae girls, trying to pull players who are qualified and very good in their own stance, in their own teams, that they would have gelled together and practiced with and all of that. Trying to pull those players out of a system to come and play a system that we're not really sure what system we play here. And to pull all those players to come and try to make it into something, and have had these results of what I will call hurry come up preparations, then, and getting these results, and getting these results, I mean, it's just frightening. It's really just frightening that this is the stance that we would have taken. And I said just before we would have gone on to the qualifying or trying to qualify for the CONCACAF Gold Cup. I see my guest is here, so Audrey, good afternoon. How are you, my dear?
Good afternoon. Let me know if you are hearing me and seeing me.
I am both. Can you hear me and see me?
I can.
All right, Audrey. You just joined us for the last half of the show. So I'm gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna come right back. All right?
Okay, great.
We all trust the traditional home remedies of our parents, especially when they've been passed Get relief from irritating cold symptoms, cough, and sore throat with the warm, comforting taste of honey, rum, and lime. Benjamin's Honey Time, the formula that works with the soothing taste of tradition. Benjamin's, a trusted name for over a century.
All right, good afternoon and welcome back to Sports Talk. The name is Kathya, your new host for the Sports Talk. I have online with me Audreyne Leslie, sports journalist. Audreyne, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. I'm a bit stressed because, as you know, I was telling you on campus, the Wi-Fi is not the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to set up, but I'm glad that I made it. That's what's important.
Yeah, I'm glad that you made it too, because I was getting a little tired talking to myself. I joke. Thank you so much for joining us, Audreyne. But before, I just want to, there are a few comments coming in. Olga from Kingston, I see your comments about the leaders don't want the girls to talk about how they've been treated. I take that point, and it says, Cherry from Spanish Town says the JFF sacking Coach Donaldson now in the middle of CONCACAF is outward. Not right. I definitely agree. Good afternoon, Jean Watson on Facebook. Jean Watson from Lacovia, who has joined us on YouTube. And also Marlene Dunkley, good afternoon. She said, I remember when Brown said, this is as it relates to a matter early on where Coach Donaldson said a few things about the JFF, which I don't think were, in my estimation, he was just telling the truth. Maybe he didn't go about it the right way, but, he was telling the truth. So, Audreyne, talk to me now, because a few days after failing to qualify for the World Cup, we see a release from the JFF about not renewing Coach Donaldson's contract. And from what the JFF has reported, we haven't seen anything official yet from Donaldson. We haven't heard anything official yet from Coach Donaldson, but we have seen reports or unconfirmed reports that he's saying what JFS is saying. That's not how it is. We're not going to go into that. My concern is, what are your thoughts on what has happened over the past few days?
I do understand that the JFF, they're getting, at this time would be time for the renewal of his contract and everything. But I believe it was also at the wrong timing due to the fact that we are just heading into the Gold Cup qualifiers. So we would have come off, in my opinion, from the last time I was here, we would have come off of a high talk from World Cup, being a team from the Caribbean that nobody even expected would be in the run of 16. So when we finished with that, in my opinion, he's a good coach. He was a good coach. He did what he needed to do. He got the girls prepared, and that's what's important. I believe that the JFF should not listen to the noise on the outside of everything that's been happening. But we also know that they don't like when they're being shed in a bad light.
Right, that's true. JFF doesn't like to be called out.
Yeah, they don't like to be called out. So he has not released his own statements, but we also see on Sports Max where they quoted something that he said. I'm not sure if it's from an actual interview or it's from a source from him or from him directly. But on the Sports Max page, you would see where he's saying that the decision by JFF actually had nothing to do with football and that the general secretary has some type of vendetta. And when you look at the repost from it, for example, Evo, track athlete, two-time national champion Taekwondo, Tracy, made a comment on it, and he was saying, do you guys even think it's about money? And people are saying, yeah, JFF needs to start paying the coaches better. For me, I just believe it was wrong timing. Even if his thing is supposed to be expired the end of September, which would be today, I think an extension could be done, because this team, they're not on this, as I said the last time, they're not on the same set of teams, club teams, and they don't get that much games in to play together. So to change a coach in this.
All right, we've lost Andrine for a second, but I think Andrine is making the same point I was making earlier of to say to change a coach right now going into a qualification of a tournament. To me, it's just really unacceptable at this point, and I'm not sure, I just don't think it's the right decision. I really, really don't think it's the right decision. I think the JFF made a wrong decision. They made an incorrect decision at this point. Yes, Andre, you were saying.
You see what I'm talking about, campus Wi-Fi. Yes, I'm saying that it was an incorrect decision at this period of time, because, as I said, they don't play a lot. Together, because they're not in the same clubs. They don't really have that much matches in the year, in the sport year, the football year. So I think changing our coach right now was not the best decision on the JFF. They need someone that they trust as their coach. And as a sport athlete myself, when an athlete don't trust their coach, it's issues. It's
issues as we would have had with Vin Blaine earlier in the year.
Yeah. Within the team, persons aren't connecting, and if they don't connect outside of the game, they won't connect on the field.
Definitely.
And that's just factual. And it's not just football, it's in every sport. Coaches and their athletes need to have some sort of bond. And I just believe you're setting them up for failure, in my opinion, because this is a big competition where we want our women's team to do exceptional, and JFF right now was wrong decision. As the meme on TikTok says, wrong timing. They have an issue after the Gold Cup. Right. Before the Gold Cup.
And I agree with you, Audrey. At least a 1 to 2 month contract extension, and then we could come back to the matter of whether or not Coach Donaldson should continue. But for the JFF to come now, right before, now this is what the Gold Cup starts when the qualification starts when they start in a few weeks.
Yeah, in a few weeks.
I mean,
the first match we would have is Panama versus Jamaica. Yeah, October 25.
That's less than that's 26 days away now. So you're gonna say no. Let's just put all the matters on the table now. You're gonna say to me, a coach that would have come into this team, proven himself by getting results since June, right?
Agreed.
You're gonna say to me that he is not worthy to continue for our next 2 months, so that we be able to at least get through this CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers because of personal reasons, or not reasons beyond what was happening on the pitch. Because to be honest, I mean, a lot of coaches we see in the other bodies, whether it be at a club level or international level, that coaches, yes, are judged by personnel, but the major thing that coaches are judged by are results. If you can't get the results, then people let you go right across this world.
Correct.
You can't. But with a coach that has gotten the results, and we're gonna let personal get into the way, I'm just not in I'm not in agreement with that. But talk to me, Audrey, because the qualifiers are gonna come up. We're playing Panama, We're playing Panama and Guatemala. Now we'd have won against Panama, but Guatemala would have beaten Panama in recent games.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about, because with this current situation, how do you feel about these qualifiers coming up?
I'm a bit nervous, and for example, I would have been at their first leg World Cup, not World Cup, their first leg Olympic qualifying game as a media personnel. And when you see the behind the scenes of these females, they're actually bonding, and I think that's what makes them exceptional, even though they did not score any goals in that first match. And you could see that they were a bit down, especially in the locker room, and when they were supposed to come out to, they did not even want to speak to media. It was that bad. But the bond that each of them have and holding each other up, and when you listen to different interviews that they who have done interviews would have did, for example, when they asked, I think it was Kathya, she was saying that, hey, even though she's a mother, she also enjoys mothering the younger one. She would say that Jodie Brown is her daughter. When you talk to Jodie was like, oh my God, I love Kathya. So they still form a bond. Shayna as well. So I'm not sure how it will affect them for these matches, but I know it's a damp on the team. Panama versus Jamaica, I think the girls, they're going to want to put it aside. I've never seen a bunch of girls that love repping their country. As I said, it's one thing for our patron to come into the National Stadium and watch them, but it's another thing, even as a young journalist, to see them in the back and really see these bonds that they have. They really push each other and encourage each other. So I know that first match, it's going to be hard for them, but I believe they're going to pull through. Guatemala is, in my opinion, the harder team. So we have to just see how it goes. Those girls, I live at Taylor Hall, and Chancellor Hall has something where say heart and foot bottom. I believe them heart and foot bottom, they love Jamaica. They're pushing, a lot of them is because of their parents or grandparents that used to play, or their parents are Jamaicans, and it really pushed the pride in them. So I'm really excited to see what the girls can do in such a hard time, and it will really show the love that they have as a team and how they come together even in trial situations.
Right. I definitely agree with all the points you've made on Audrey. Thank you so much for joining me today on Sports Talk. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure we will talk further as we get closer to the CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup qualifiers. Thank you so much, Audrey. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And people, just one point. Please support the girls. They need the support. We support the boys more than the girls, and the girls are, in my opinion, world-class players. So please support the girls. That's all. Thank you for having me.
Duly endorsed, Audrey. Thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye. Right, that's Audrey Leslie joining us, sports journalist. Right. So, as I would have said a few things today, we would have discussed the Jamaica JCA and government not making a bid for the ICC Cricket World Cup next year. Would have also talked about the ineligibility issues that have struck two teams within the Issa Manning Cup, and also talks about what we would have seen yesterday, a release statement from the JFF as it relates to coach Lauren Donaldson contract not being renewed, with the Beggar Girls having their upcoming matches, upcoming CONCACAF World Gold Cup CONCACAF Gold Cup match qualifiers coming up. It's been an interesting week of sports so far. And as we continue, and as I continue this journey, embark on this journey on Sports Talk, looking for your continued support. Thank you so much. I'm Kathya. Thank you so much for joining me on Sports Talk today. All the well wishes are very much appreciated. KG is not running me as I was running him earlier. Join me next week for Sports Talk right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.